regular scheduled council meeting for Monday, September 23rd, 2013. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Santos.
Here.
Battle.
Present.
Vasquez.
Present.
Cuevas.
Present.
Orange.
Present.
Maldonado. Arnold.
Present.
Parks.
Present.
Franciski.
Present. For the record, Madam Clerk, I did get a call from Councilwoman Maldonado. She is under the weather this evening.
Okay.
A motion to accept the minutes, please.
So moved. Second.
Motion was made by Councilman Cuevas, seconded by Councilman Parks. Any questions on the minutes? Roll call, please.
Santos.
Yes.
Battle.
Yes.
Vasquez.
Yes.
Cuevas.
Yes.
Orange.
Yes.
Arnold.
Yes.
Parks.
Yes.
Franciski.
Yes. Madam Clerk, do we have any communications from the mayor?
No.
Any communications from department heads?
Yes. Account payable warrant report 092313CC.
So move, Mr. President.
Second.
Motion was made by Councilwoman Vasquez, seconded by Councilman Battle, to accept accounts payable warrant 092313CC. Any questions on the motion? Madam Clerk, roll call.
Santos.
Yes.
Battle.
Yes.
Vasquez.
Yes.
Cuevas.
Yes.
Orange.
Yes.
Arnold.
Yes.
Parks.
Yes.
Franciski.
Yes.
Account payable warrant report 091213CC.
So moved.
Second.
A motion was made by Councilman Cuevas, seconded by Councilwoman Vasquez, to accept accounts payable warrant report 091213CC. Do I have any questions on the motion? Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Santos.
Yes.
Battle.
Yes.
Vasquez.
Yes.
Cuevas.
Yes.
Orange.
Yes.
Arnold.
Yes.
Parks.
Yes.
Franciski.
Yes.
Payroll warrant 091313.
So move.
Second.
Motion was made by Councilwoman Orange, seconded by Councilman Cuevas, to accept payroll warrant 091313. Any questions on the motion? Madam Clerk, roll call.
Santos.
Yes.
Battle.
Yes.
Vasquez.
Yes.
Cuevas.
Yes.
Orange.
Yes.
Arnold.
Yes.
Parks.
Yes.
Franciski.
Yes.
Accounts payable warrant report 090513CC.
So moved. Second.
Motion was made by Councilman Parks, seconded by Councilman Cuevas, to accept accounts payable warrant report 090513CC. Any questions? Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Santos.
Yes.
Battle.
Yes.
Vasquez.
Yes.
Cuevas.
Yes.
Orange.
Yes.
Arnold.
Yes.
Parks.
Yes.
Franciski.
Yes. This time, do we have any committee reports? Councilwoman Orange?
We did meet in the environmental committee. Nobody was able to make it, but the two ordinances that I have on the agenda for the night, I see that Ms. Guzman is here, so she would be able to answer the questions that we talked about during that meeting.
Councilwoman Orange? Yep.
And also, I see that Mr. Martinez is here. I know that he's not on the agenda, but I would like for him to come and speak about the sewer, because I had people calling me about the rain. I know I got water myself, Councilwoman Arnold got water, and Councilman Sanders, all of us got water, so we kind of just want to see what was going on with the sanitation. Is he able to come and talk?
Get my belt.
Your name and title for the record, please.
John Martinez, Director of Operations for the East Chicago Sanitary District. On September 18th, the rain started about 7:30. We had a peak flow of 39 MGDs. The sanitary district is designed to only take 27 MGD, but we were at our peak. In an hour and a half, all the rain that fell, we had approximately 3.7 inches of water come down in about an hour and a half. So basically, we had to wait till the pumps all caught up before the water started going down. It was just a lot of water that came down at one time.
Councilwoman Orange?
So, I mean, some people are saying that you didn't have the pumping stations open.
Okay, let me make this. I've got calls that said that we didn't turn the switches on. We have 11 pump stations in the city. All of our pumping stations are based on a floating system. As soon as we have 2 different float systems in the district, I mean at the pumping stations, once it hits a certain level, pumps turn on automatically. There's no such thing as nobody didn't turn the pumps on or anything. Our wet wells are designed for 30 foot deep. The pumps turn on at 10 feet. So it's just a matter of the pumps catching up. We had a lot of rain come down at one time. I was getting calls from communication, straight from the fire department communications, and all we could do is wait for it to stop, and then they all started going down. It wasn't long before the city was drained.
Does it have anything to do with our new water filtration plant?
No. There's future plans that are coming up pretty soon for the sanitary district. It's called under our long-term control plan. They're going to be doing some work that's going to help Prairie Park, and it's going to help other parts of the city. What's happening is, too, also, we have a combination system. That means the street drains and the sanitary district are mixed together. In the future, the mayor's planning on separating a lot of these. Street drains are going to one pipe, and the sanitary going to another pipe. But that's the future. And as everybody knows, every year it seems like we get different rains. Last year we got a rain for 4 inches, and we had the same problem. All I could do is keep cleaning the sewers, clean the drains, and hope that the people that live at the residence, that when they cut the grass, that it doesn't go into the street, and then the rain comes and plugs up the sewers. We're going to start educating the people instead of, they need to be educated. And also we have downspouts connected at some houses that if the street can't take it, your basement will. And what I mean by that is the downspouts going into the sewer, they have to be disconnected for them to go onto your yard. People have some pumps in East Chicago. They're connected to the sewer system. That's all the water, excess water that we don't need.
Councilman Santos?
Mr. Martinez, I called you. I deal with this. I get a lot of phone calls of people dealing with it. My question is, what can we do as residents to make sure that, is there a system that where we can stop from flooding? Because I'm assuming not everybody in East Chicago flooded. Because I talked to some folks, they didn't, but I did. So what can we do as homeowners to make sure, is there a mechanism, is there a gadget we need to buy? What can we do so that we don't get flooded?
There's a program that the city's offering as far as your check valve. It's called the check valve program. If you sign up for it and you have it installed by professional plumbers, the city will reimburse you up to $750. So if it costs $1,000, the city's going to give you back money, and those check valves will stop the water from coming in.
Okay, I was told that there is no funding for that program. Is there any truth to that?
I haven't heard none, but I heard that every year they try to put money into that program. I can't answer that because as of 2 months ago, I believe there was money in that account.
And another thing, you made a statement earlier that educating the residents in regards to the water that's on the street. When I heard that, I thought, okay, if the sewer systems are clogged with whether it be leaves, debris, wouldn't that kind of help? Because now the streets are flooding,
Right.
but not the basement.
And you're right. I personally, 30 years ago, when I first started working for the city, I used to complain about the same thing. I'd rather see the water on the street till after the rain and then the water go down. But what I'm talking about as far as educating the people, as far as downspouts connected,
Yeah.
sump pumps connected, things like that nature.
And one more last thing, Mr. Martinez. You mentioned the wells are 30 feet and the pump kicks on at 10. Can we change the footage? Or can we go down to 5? Or so is here at 10 feet? Is it hard to catch up? I mean, I'm assuming it's hard. You're playing catch up now. You got 10, and then you get 20, and then so can we change that range? Can we bring
I
it down?
could check into it and see, because we also have to worry about flooding the plant more than what we do. That's all controlled through a computer. That if we send too much water to the plant at one time, it'll also flood the plant.
But wouldn't we like the plant to flood opposed to the residents? I just.
If the plant floods, the city's going to flood then, because then we won't have control. But I'll get an answer to that and get back to you.
And can you also, maybe you can as a department head, prepare something so that we as district councilmen and councilmen at large, if there's a flyer or something that we can pass out to the people that are flooding in regards to that program where you can buy a check valve? I know that they did that when we had that terrible storm. I mean.
Last year, when we had that bad flood, FEMA came out
Yeah.
with a pamphlet explaining the check valves.
I don't know if you still have copies of that, and
Yeah.
since there's funding in that program, I want to get on it tomorrow. You know how I
All you got
feel.
to do is call the district.
I want to get.
Call the district and give your name and address. Then-
And how long is the process? Is there an expectation? Because some people I've talked to, I'm still not understanding. They said they've got their names on the list and it's been over 3 years.
No, I disagree with that, because I had a gentleman call me the other day and he had it installed yesterday, and he already brought me the bill today.
Okay, well, don't leave because I want to see it after the council meeting.
And as far as, I would like to invite everybody on this council to come to the district, make an appointment to come see actually what happens, what we do. I know you can't come during the rain because there's no time limit, but instead of, when people call you, they say they haven't turned the switch on. It's not about a switch turning on and off. It's not.
But let's see if we can bring that 10-foot down to maybe 5, or so that it kicks on a lot sooner than 10.
We will see.
Councilwoman Vasquez?
Mr. Martinez, besides the pamphlet that FEMA gave out regarding the check valve program, has it been advertised on Channel 21?
I was told that it was, but I'm not sure. I have to check into it.
Yeah, and I was just thinking, maybe another way to let the residents know, maybe to put a flyer in the water bills, letting them know. Because there are quite a few residents still in Prairie Park that get flooded, and that's every year, not just.
We're going to be going throughout the city with stormwater, and we're going to start, we did it before, we're going to do it again. Take a number of downspouts that are connected, and then come up, and then have a letter, and then give it to the homeowner that they have to disconnect the downspout. Because there is an ordinance that was dated back in 1964 that says you cannot hook up to any sanitary sewer. And I get a copy of the ordinance, and that means check valve, sump pumps and downspouts.
And just a comment, some of the residents that did call me regarding, the flooding of the basements that called the sanitary district said that you guys handled it, came out as quickly as you could with the amount of calls that you got. So just want to thank you.
I personally was out there, and we do our best. We give it 150%. The whole thing is after the rain, we got approximately 60 calls come in, and the next day and that same night, we're going to everybody's house, making sure that there was no water in their basement.
I don't have the figures in front of me, but I know to put those flyers in the water bills is not very costly. So
Okay.
if it's something that would help, and if the money's there, then I'd say maybe we could consider looking into that.
Right?
Councilman Cuevas?
Yeah, Mr. Martinez, you were mentioning about educating the citizens. Well, one of the things that we can advise them with capping those drains, help if it's possible. Would that alleviate the water from coming in? Or will the water still push through those caps? You know, just cap the drains on the floor. Is that something we can do that's a quick
A
fix?
lot of people back in the days, my dad used to put a standpipe.
Yeah, I've heard of that too. Does
I
that
never
work?
thought it did, but it did work.
So even putting the pipe
Right.
down in there would alleviate that problem? Would that be something you guys can, put in that flyer as well then, to help with that? Because a lot of times when I've gone, people do call me, and with my job, there's no cap on the drain or a pipe, and it seems that's where the water's coming in, where it's uncapped.
But you also got to remember that if they cap that drain off and you got a basement toilet, it's going to shoot up to that toilet.
Is that right?
It will. That check valve, that's where the check valve comes in handy, really.
Right.
People may think it's a lot of money, but every bad rain, people throw out $400 or $500 in furniture or whatever.
Yeah.
Should pay for itself in no time.
Councilman Santos?
One more quick thing, Mr. Martinez. The cap, I have a cap of mine, and it popped right out. So I played all night with the cap. So I want to stop there. There's going to be residents watching this program
Yes.
Via TV here, and they're going to think, okay, that, there is a mechanism to stop the water. But I'm assuming if the funding's there, if there's no funding and everybody starts calling you, how are you going to go on the first basis kind of thing? Because if everybody starts calling, we're going to run out of money, and people are going to say,
I gotta
well,
find
you
out
said.
from the finance people that if some amount of money's there every year, it's not going to be back when they started this program, I believe it was up to $70,000, $75,000 a year. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on it.
No, Kim's here, so I'm sure she can give us some numbers later on.
But you're right. But at least if you call and get yourself on the list, we're just going to go down as we. But you got that old one, but you got to get rid of that.
Yeah, and that's fine.
Any other
More
questions?
questions?
Thank you, Johnny.
Thank you.
And for you residents at home, that number is 391-8466. 391-8466. Steve?
Correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know if someone knows or remembers this. The water department had sent out a notice, I think about a year and a half ago. They had gotten some type of insurance company that you pay like $5 a month. I know that went into the water bill, but I don't know what type of coverage that insurance, I think part of that was backflow. I'll try to find the information later. We should re-advertise that as well, because I think that had something to do with the backflow and all that stuff as well. So I'll look for it, and if that's the case, we'll re-advertise it on the television.
Thank you. This time we have board reports. We do have Miss Kimberly Edwards here from the Urban Enterprise.
Good evening, council. It's been a while since I've been before you, but we have been busy. As you probably know by now, the East Chicago Urban Enterprise Zone has relocated after the fire to the northwest corner of Main and Broadway. Most recently, what the Urban Enterprise has been working on is partnering with the Foundations of East Chicago and the Holistic Community Coalition to provide home improvement and jobs for citizens of East Chicago. Specifically, the home improvement will be in the Enterprise Zone. This is a pilot program starting with grants of $5,000 maximum for each home. And the kinds of repairs that are available are the minor electrical, plumbing, heating, roofing, siding. And then I have a list of frequently asked questions I can provide for you too. But these are things that are necessary home improvements, not for garages or repairing fences. there is a maximum at this time of $30,000 that's available. So what this partnership is able to do a minimum of 6 homes if they each all used $5,000. If a home submitted something and it was less than $5,000, then we could do a little bit more for an additional home. Or not for an additional home, but for another home. So what happens is what you can do now, what residents can do, we're going to begin advertising, is that they can call the Urban Enterprise office and see if their home is in the enterprise zone, and if it is, then they can come in and pick up an application. Next on the list, and as ongoing since it precedes me, is the Burger King property. We are in closing with that, and we are, and we should be within closing within a week or two for that. As you probably have heard, they're going to plan on putting a Subway on that corner. And I forgot, I'm sorry, I meant to ask Councilman Santos if you had anything to add to the,
Other than not, they meaning who we sold it to is thinking about putting a Subway,
Yeah.
not the Urban Enterprise.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Okay. So not we, but the purchasers are planning to put a Subway on that property. Do you have any questions at all? I can pass out this frequently asked questions.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Orange, I'm sorry.
I was glad to see Ms. Edwards here tonight, and I know that Mr. Rodriguez is always here on his report, but if, Council President, if you could direct the other board members to come and at least make a report, that was one of our prerequisites for people staying on the board, is to come and give us a report to say what's going on, so I'm glad you are here tonight. We have some boards that we don't know what is going on, and I think that if we are appointing, they should at least give us an update. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Edwards. No report from Mr. Rodriguez? Thank you. Madam Clerk, do we have any orders on first reading?
Yes, 13-0026, sponsor Mayor Anthony Copeland, East Chicago Civil City, 2014 budget.
So move on first reading.
Second.
Motion, excuse me. Motion was made by Councilman Parks, seconded by Councilman Cuevas to hear ordinance 13-0026. Was that second reading, Councilman? On first reading? Any discussion on the motion? Councilwoman Orange?
We'll be discussing this in committee, right? So we don't have to.
Madam Clerk, roll call to adopt ordinance 13-0026 on first reading.
Santos?
Yes.
Battle?
Yes.
Vasquez?
Yes.
Cuevas?
Yes.
Orange?
Yes.
Arnold?
Yes.
Parks?
Yes.
Franciski?
Yes.
Ordinance number 13-2227, sponsor Mayor Anthony Copeland, East Chicago Sanitary 2014 budget.
So moved on first reading?
Second.
Motion was made by Councilwoman Vasquez, seconded by Councilwoman Orange to hear ordinance 13-0027 on first reading. Any discussion on the motion? Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Santos?
Yes.
Battle?
Yes.
Vasquez?
Yes.
Cuevas?
Yes.
Orange?
Yes.
Arnold?
Yes.
Parks?
Yes.
Franciski?
Yes.
Ordinance 13-0028, sponsor Mayor Anthony Copeland, salary ordinance for appointed officers and employees of the city of East Chicago.
So moved on first reading.
Second.
Motion was made by Councilwoman Orange, seconded by Councilman Cuevas, to hear ordinance 13-0028 on first reading. Any discussion on the motion? Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Santos.
Yes.
Battle.
Yes.
Vasquez.
Yes.
Cuevas.
Yes.
Orange.
Yes.
Arnold.
Yes.
Parks.
Yes.
Franciski.
Yes.
Ordinance number 13-0029, sponsor Mayor Anthony Copeland, transfer of appropriations.
So move on first and second reading.
Second.
Motion was made by Councilman Parks, seconded by Councilman Cuevas, to hear ordinance 13-0029 on second reading. Any discussion on the motion? Councilman Parks?
I guess Lieutenant Maldonado or Ms. Anderson, either one.
You have a question? Is that it?
Yeah, just one quick question. Or maybe more suitable for Kim. I just want to know why it was moved into travel as opposed to training.
I think,
Your name for the record, please.
Lieutenant Frank Maldonado from the Police Department. I think we have enough for the training, we just don't have enough for the travel.
Okay.
Well, it's the same thing, isn't it, the travel expense? No, we have enough in our training account, but not in our travel, from my understanding. I don't know if Kim, I kind of don't understand your question.
When we get the requests, usually that's why I'm forwarding it to them, I asked the departments to come explain. So that's what they had asked for, I think, as you see on there. So what I'm guessing, and I can't speak for him, is there's money set aside to pay for the actual classes. So that goes under the education portion of the line item. But when it comes to reimbursing the officer that had to drive down, get a hotel, and you know, feed them, some of these classes are 2 days, that has to come out of the travel line item.
So this would be more for long-distance training as opposed to the local training?
Yes, if it's going to travel, yes.
Well, any travel.
But the travel, sometimes you have to pay mileage locally, but you have the guidelines, you're not going to have the hotel coming out if it's local stuff. But I notice a lot of the law enforcement classes tend to be in Indianapolis, a lot that they're going down there, so.
I couldn't tell you. I don't get to go to very many, but that's neither here nor there.
But you need to put in for it, Judah. Anything else?
Any other questions? Thank you, Lieutenant. Madam Clerk, roll call to adopt ordinance 13-0029 on second reading.
Santos.
Yes.
Battle.
Yes.
Vasquez.
Yes.
Cuevas.
Yes.
Orange.
Yes.
Arnold.
Yes.
Parks.
Yes.
Franciski.
Yes.
Motion to suspend the rules and hear on third and final reading.
Second.
Motion was made by Councilman Parks, seconded by Councilwoman Vasquez, excuse me, to suspend the rules and hear it on third reading. Any questions? Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Santos.
Yes.
Battle.
Yes.
Vasquez.
Yes.
Cuevas.
Yes.
Orange.
Yes.
Arnold.
Yes.
Parks.
Yes.
Franciski.
Yes.
So move on third and final reading.
Second.
Motion was made by Councilman Parks, seconded by Councilwoman Vasquez. Suspend the rules and hear it on third and final reading. We have any discussion? Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Santos.
Yes.
Battle.
Yes.
Vasquez.
Yes.
Cuevas.
Yes.
Orange.
Yes.
Arnold.
Yes.
Parks.
Yes.
Franciski.
Yes.
Ordinance 13-0030, sponsor Councilwoman Gilda Orange, an ordinance amending the East Chicago, Indiana Code of Ordinances regulating Title 11 Business Regulations, Chapter 115, Building Contractors and Movers, Catch Basins and Sewer Cleaners, Lumber Yards and Storehouses, Sidewalks Contractors in the city of East Chicago.
So move on first and second reading.
Second.
Motion was made by Councilman Parks, seconded by Councilwoman Vasquez, to hear ordinance 13-0030 on second reading. Do we have any discussion on this motion? Councilwoman Orange?
Ms. Guzman?
Good evening, Council. Weena Guzman, Building Department.
Ms. Guzman, could you just give us a little overall view? I know we talked about this in the meeting, and we'll probably have to have one more meeting before the third reading, so that if any council has any questions, they could go through it.
Yes, that's fine. Well, I'm attempting to update and revise ordinances pertaining to the Building Department. There are two that I'm proposing, which is amending the contractor licensing ordinance. A couple of things that I'd like to highlight. The fee schedule. Our fee schedule differs from what we are collecting at this time. What I'm proposing, it's, we're updating it because what we're collecting does not reflect what the ordinance states. So we need to correct that. And I have visited other cities and researched what they are collecting for their licensing fees, and I've provided a copy. I don't know if you have a copy of that, but I kind of detailed. I went to our sister cities, Hammond, Whiting, Gary, and Highland, and I kind of broke it down as far as what they're collecting. So I want to up the fees for new licensing to 100, which is very important that we get this right, because it's not, what we're collecting is not correct, what's reflected on the ordinance. So I need to update it and revise it, and that's why I'm bringing this before the council. But just to give you an example, what we're collecting for a general new license is 165. Hammond collects 100, Whiting 50, Gary 120, Highland collects 72. And for the renewal fees, ours is 90, licensing for Hammond is 50, Whiting is 50. So our licensing fees, they range. So I want to make them level for all new licenses. There'll be 200. For all renewals, there'll be 100. Because right now it's a little confusing too to the contractor. They come in, okay, what is your license for? Like I said, for new general is $165. For renewal is $90. For our sub, new is $115. So it fluctuates, and it's a little confusing to the customer. We have to explain to them. But again, I want to revise it so it can be correct within our ordinances. That's one of the changes. Another change is bonding. Right now, we require that a contractor provide a bond, and it has to have a recorder stamp affixed to that bond when they submit it to us, which is when they initially become licensed. Now, when they come back to renew, we require the same thing, that their continuation bond or their renewal bond also is recorded, but that's not reflected within our ordinance. So I want to make sure that that's in there, because we've been doing this for years and years, but it's just never been in there. So now I'm taking the opportunity to try to update and revise our ordinances. That's a couple of them, but I've highlighted some. No licensed contractor shall obtain a permit for any individual not directly employed by his or her company. We're experiencing this, where contractors are pulling permits on behalf of other contractors that are not licensed with the city. So they're going to be required as well to pull, if they're acting as a subcontractor or a contractor, they have to also abide by the licensing requirements. So those are just some things that we're implementing, but there's a couple more. If you would like for me to go through the whole ordinance, I can, or else we could do it through committee. I mean, these are just examples of what I want to propose when I'm proposing.
Councilman Santos?
Well, who's going to be the monitor of making sure that contractors are not subbing out other contractors, like for electrical, that they're not subbing them out? Who's actually?
Well, we are responsible for that, that we monitor that. If we find that they are acting in that manner, they're not licensed, they're not pulling their permits as required, then we are being aggressive and we are issuing citations. I mean, we've issued a lot of citations in the last year since, it was implemented. And we are, these are things that we see, and that's why I'm changing some of these things.
And one thing you had mentioned, you were trying to, even at the playing
Yes.
field. Are they, I know you mentioned that they're comparable to Hammond, Gary, and, but when you set the
A
numbers.
little bit, yeah.
'cause when I
Well,
was-
what I
We're
did
going
is
up,
I,
right?
yes, what I did, I just kind of provided you a list of all, what our sister cities are charging, so you can see. But, we do a lot of, the process intake is quite detailed, and, there's a lot to do. And, from taking permits to processing licenses, it's quite a bit. Another thing is that we do, internally, we administer our examinations. One of the things that I included in here is a $50 license examination fee. We never charged that. So those are things that I want to implement.
And one last question, Mr. President. I know myself and the majority of the council members here, if not all, we talked about in several meetings before in regards to when somebody applies for a business license. Now, I would imagine this is going to kind of be tied with this, because if I'm opening up a new business and I'm going to require electrical engineer and all this other stuff, that is there going to finally be a breakdown? Like if I want to go open up a business, that I do X, Y, and Z, and my contractor needs to do X, Y, and Z in order for him to get his license and not be delayed?
In our requirements, we do specify that. We include language relating to if you have a business based within the city, we do include that in our requirements that states that all businesses maintaining and operating its offices in the city of East Chicago are required to obtain and hold a valid business license. So we do try to inform and try to be proactive and let the contractors know that if they're based out of East Chicago, they have to become licensed. So we kind of help each other with the controllers, and they help us too in identifying those that are based out of East Chicago, and we notify them that they have to get their licenses in order.
Councilwoman Orange?
And I think, what Councilman Santos is alluding to is that we're talking about being more business-friendly in East Chicago, and we've talked about this on a number of occasions probably over the past year. And we still, I think, have not gotten it pinpoint down where if that contractor is having a problem and they're a viable contractor, it's not like somebody that's fly-by-night or somebody's been, they say they're a painter, but they've been only painting their grandmother's basement and all that. But this is a viable contractor, he's passed it. To be able to take that person and help them through the process, because I think that's where the breakdown is, and that's where everybody has complained.
Yes, I've heard.
And so if there is somebody, or maybe this is the budgetary time, because I think that's important to be able to bring those businesses in, that somebody help them through the process, because you don't want them to get to the end of the process and realize they've missed one step and have to go all the way back. And I think that's what we need to make sure that we're doing. I know you're short of staff, but if this is the time that, you need to be looking at that, because those businesses are going to come into the city and make money for the city. I read something in the newspaper the other day where somebody's bringing an IT thing to break down the computers and all that in East Chicago. Didn't even know that existed here. But like I said, but more companies may want to come in if they know we're more business friendly. So, when they can't hit a brick wall when they get there.
Right.
In order to help them.
We try to be as resident-friendly, customer-friendly as possible. As far as the business licensing, they start at the controller's office. When they get to us, we try to expedite things as far as conducting the inspections. Once we conduct inspections, either approve or disapprove, we send that information over to the controller's office. But we are working closely with Ms. Kim Anderson and Carla and some of Kim's staff to try to make things better, to enhance the process, to help the businesses, have that steady flow that just to help them with the flow of things, because, it's important, and I hear that too, and I agree with you. But we do try to help them. When they come to us, we try to expedite things and try to, that's our priority, to make sure that our inspections are done in a timely manner and that we submit the proper paperwork to the controller's office. But we are working to try to enhance it.
Any other questions? Thank you, Ms. Coos.
You're welcome.
Madam Clerk, roll call to adopt ordinance 13-0030 on second reading.
Santos,
Yes.
Battle,
Yes.
Vasquez,
Yes.
Cuevas,
Yes.
Orange,
Yes.
Arnold,
Yes.
Parks,
Yes.
Franciski.
Yes.
Ordinance 13-0031, sponsor Councilwoman Gilda Orange, an ordinance amending ordinance number 0-020017, and ordinance amending certain provisions of the city building code.
So moved on first and second reading.
Second.
A motion was made by Councilwoman Orange, seconded by Councilman Cuevas, to hear ordinance 13-0031 on second reading. Any discussion on the motion? Madam Clerk, roll call to adopt ordinance 13-0031 on second reading.
Santos?
Yes.
Battle?
Yes.
Vasquez?
Yes.
Cuevas?
Yes.
Orange?
Yes.
Arnold?
Yes.
Parks?
Yes.
Franciski.
Yes. Madam Clerk, do we have any ordinance on second reading?
Yes. 13-0022, sponsor Councilman Rosendo Cuevas, an ordinance adding to subsection 30.09A of the city code in order to require that all ordinances presented to the common council contain only one subject matter.
So moved on second reading?
Second.
Motion was made by Councilwoman Vasquez, seconded by Councilwoman Arnold, to hear ordinance 13-0022 on second reading. Any discussion on the motion? Councilman Santos?
Mr. President, I think Councilman Cuevas was supposed to call a meeting for just this particular subject matter. Was there one called?
Councilman Cuevas?
Yeah, we had a discussion on it at the workshop and at the executive meeting that we had. We discussed it. You were there, so I thought we kind of came to an understanding with that. Schedule another meeting if you want.
Councilwoman Orange?
Just clarifying things, it was not at the executive session. It was at the workshop that was right after the executive session. I want to get that clear,
Yeah,
because
you're
I don't want nobody saying we discussed
No, you're right, it
anything
was
other
that,
than
was
that. And Councilwoman Arnold did call a meeting.
Yes,
Councilwoman Arnold?
yes, we did have a committee meeting on Friday at noon, and I did call Councilman Cuevas because I knew he was passionate about this ordinance. So I will ask him if he would like for us to go a more discussion with it. I'm more than willing to put it back
Yeah,
into
that'd be
committee.
fine. Yeah.
Just let me know of a date and time that works well for you.
Okay, we can discuss that after the meeting. Okay,
We'll discuss it at the committee meeting.
that's fine.
At this time, Councilwoman Arnold, are you making a motion to put it back?
Yes, I am. Make a motion, put it on, back into committee, Education Committee.
A motion was made by Councilwoman Arnold, seconded by Councilman Santos, to put ordinance 13-0022 in committee. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Santos?
Yes.
Battle?
Yes.
Vasquez?
Yes.
Cuevas?
Yes.
Orange?
Yes.
Arnold?
Yes.
Parks?
Yes.
Franciski.
Yes. Madam Clerk, do we have any ordinance on third reading?
No?
Madam Clerk, do we have any resolutions?
Yes. 13-0019, sponsor Councilwoman Christine Vasquez, resolution honoring Helen Lois Ahmad.
So moved.
Second.
Motion was made by Councilman Cuevas, seconded by Councilman Battle, Any discussion on resolution? Councilwoman Vasquez?
Yes. First of all, I'd like to welcome Helen Lois's Ahmad's family here this evening, her daughter and son. And just a brief history of who Helen Lois Ahmad was. Helen Lois Ahmad met with a tragic accident unexpectedly, which took her life. She was very much loved by her neighbors and her friends, especially those who helped her in so many ways, especially those she helped in so many ways. She lived and worked in the city that she loved. Helen felt there were too many memories in this city for her to ever want to leave. Helen made East Chicago her home. She also believed in giving back to this city. Helen was determined to make a difference in what she did. She visited the sick in her neighborhood and shared those special moments with those who were sick and brought comfort and joy to those in need. She believed that sharing special moments with those who did not have someone to share them with brought her great joy and comfort. We appreciate a fine citizen like Helen and thank her for her special contributions to those she touched. She will be remembered for her acts of kindness and dedication. At this time, it is resolved by the Common Council of East Chicago that Helen Lois Ahmad be acknowledged for her contributions to the community, in which a honorary street sign will be placed in her name, Helen Lois Ahmad, at the corner of 137th and Catalpa Street. And I would ask my colleagues to please support this resolution as we honor a fine citizen of East Chicago.
Do we have any questions? Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Santos?
Yes.
Battle?
Yes.
Vasquez?
Yes.
Cuevas?
Yes.
Orange?
Yes.
Arnold?
Yes.
Parks?
Yes.
Franciski?
Yes, resolution passes.
Okay.
This time, do we have any old business?
No?
Do we have any new business? Councilman Parks?
Finance Committee meeting tomorrow, 10 a.m. here.
Councilwoman Orange?
I see that we did get a letter from Herbie Cruz about buckets, and I think Madam Clerk has that letter. But, yeah, that for the Red Cross assistance for all residents, you can call Herbie Cruz at, is it 200? Well, that's City Hall. That's it. But 391-8300, and that's for Herbie Cruz. He's Emergency Management and 911 Communications Director. And they have kits for people that did have flooding with mops and sponge, garbage bags, brushes, buckets, squeegees, brooms. Also, the North Township Trustee's Office is also offering any cleanup supplies for people that maybe didn't have enough to be able to clean up their basements. It takes a lot when you're cleaning up that water. I realize that this time. And so that if anybody there has a need, those are the two places that you can go. You can contact Herbie Cruz, or you can contact Frank Mervan at 932-2530, and it goes to East Chicago offices. It's one number. So you can get those supplies if you need it.
Do we have any other new business? This time, we'll move into public expression. If you'd please keep your comments to 3 minutes. I do have one here, Ms. Judith Rogers.
Hello, everybody.
Hello?
Judith Rogers, 4014 Grand Boulevard. This is my brother, Vincent Winkfield. On July 25th, 2011, a day which we will never forget, I was driving my mother's car when Cynthia Boykins ran the red light and caused a 4-car accident. And nothing happened to this woman. I've been trying to get justice for our mother for the last 2 years to no prevail. I was in therapy for a year thinking it was my fault. My mother's last words was, "Judy, Judy," and she died in my lap in the car. I pray no one had to go through this. Our mom means the world to us. She loved life. She loved her family. We are here today because we wanted to get justice in some kind of way. If my mother had died in any other kind of way, we wouldn't be here today. So we asking for the honorary sign where she died, which was on Main and Columbus, or at her house, which was on 37th and Catawba. I wrote a lot of emails to Chief Becker to try and get the ticket reissued, which it didn't happen. I wrote a lot of letters and everything to Crown Point, just trying to get a resolution to her going to the grand jury, which did happen finally. If it was your mother, what would you do? But I do want to thank all of you all for talking to us and seeing us today. We appreciate it.
Very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can you have, somebody's phone is obviously going off in the audience. Can you please turn it off?
Have a motion to adjourn, please.
Oh, move.
Motion was made by Councilman Parks, seconded by Councilwoman Orange. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Santos,
Yes.
Battle,
Yes.
Vasquez,
Yes.
Cuevas,
Yes.
Orange,
Yes.
Arnold,
Yes.
Fox,
Yes.
Francisco.
Yes, meeting adjourned. Good night.